This. Oh yeah, also doing all of this stuff. Um, I was like, is this too visually busy? But honestly, this is who I am, and this is how I do things. So if it's too much for someone, it's like, okay, just focus on me or focus on that screen there, the main one, right here. But yeah, this is how my mind works, and I'm not going to limit myself. Hello. So, I have a few plans. I want to read my astrology thread here as a new thing I'll do where if I'm not doing a full-on speech stream, I'm still going to maybe start off reading some of my tweets, or the tweets that I recently wrote, and then I'll just clip them and segment them out as like its own thing. And with the astrology thread, I'm not even done with it, but I'm going to read up to where I am. So yeah, because I have whip here. So we'll get into that. I just want to confirm that my YouTube is in fact working. So we'll check this out. I think I saw a notice that it's going to be 24 hours. It said it wasn't ready yet, so let's get into that. It might be something that I do another time, it looks like. YouTube enable live stream. Oh yeah, let's get started with some music too. Shout out Belliquist. I'm obsessed with this song. What? I wonder how good the microphone quality is. Oh. Am I not seeing desktop audio get picked up? Oh, is it because of this? Ah. Let's restart that. Good thing I checked.
You might not be able to recreate this state of mind tomorrow.
Live in the left-hand menu in the studio.
I was unstable, accepted my fate, carrying crates of sorrow. I'm broken, melting off my labels. The best mistake, unmarrying faces borrowed. It was me, then it was we, then it was me and you, then it was what do we do?
Not seeing the live. I have to verify. Verification page. Okay.
Lend me your eyes, a dying on my life, coloring everything. I'm wondering editing. Blundering, exiting dull perspectives, making my bed in the unprotected, meeting, expanding, giving, blessed, transits, transient, strip tested, time invested, exceeding decency, Eden's keys, leasing me out. I'm captive to knowing and what's next. Doubt, beauty, and child's breath.
A day before I can do that.
Chess, currently giving it my best, winning it made up edition.
Just make sure this
Sharp
is working.
decisions, gnosis, hearing whoever will listen. I ponder the first meiosis, while cycling learned poses, imposing on my focus, centering on some yogic lotus.
This is pretty crazy.
What was the question? No, I know this.
It's me.
Was there a question? No, I know this. I'm here to remind you I'm you, but I'm not escaping our monolith. I'm new and I fought for this. Is it better to not exist? I'm a star with the weight of your wishes. I wish that it wasn't my business. A note crumpled up in your fist. I give you a gift, you just tell me what's wrong with it. Read my mind, I'm sending you
uploading this. Shout out Twitch for being chill with YouTube and just like direct exporting from one to the other.
Read my mind, I'm sending you words of lilies eyes, butterflies. Read my mind, I'm sending you life sentences. Forgetting my etiquette, a mix of missed messages. Hope like an optimist, love like a pessimist. From behind the steel of my own bars, I've been trying to hold you. I can't even tell myself apart. How am I supposed to unfold you? I was me, then I was we, then I was me and you.
I might do some coding too.
What do we do? Note to self, you might not be able to recreate this emotionscape tomorrow. Astro threads, take away from the CBA disk, Logify, upload videos. Accept your fate, it's time to paint over your sorrows.
This is done.
Repair what's broken, forgive mistakes. Someday you'll have to return this body you borrowed.
Nice, that was hard. We're gonna do this album from the beginning. By Take 5, 2017. 7.
Sorry.
You know, and a lot of people have that. They're scared. They're scared of complications. They're scared of...
Yeah, and then I'm gonna watch some MLKJ speeches, because honestly I have not really listened to much of his. Happy MLKJ Day. Definitely want to do that. Yeah, I got a lot going on my screen. I'm also doing this silly ass thing where I'm just AFK splashing my magic skill up. Just ignore that. That's for you know, if you know, you know. But I have my main screen here, and the screen to the right, and then I have an overlay where I'm like, hey, ask me anything. And this, honestly, maybe I just hide. It's just things I like to talk about. So I'm going to leave that there. Yeah. And I want to talk about astrology and how it's transformed my life, and then how you might be able to understand and utilize it. If you're not interested in this, then just wait till I'm done and wait for the next thing. I don't know, we'll just hang out. I'm doing this so that I can later clip it, and I'm going to have hundreds of clips of each little topic and subject that I've been talking about. Maybe I turn the music off for this, because 1, copyright, and 2, my vocal clarity. 3, I probably, after this, I'm gonna pull up my laptop, and I'll go back to the last minute and just listen before I proceed with the rest. So, very hot topic. It's taken me a long time to like fully understand, let alone accept, and then articulate. And I'm still in the process of articulating. So, weird subject. There's a lot of context missing. How did I even come to this? I did not consider this until 26, 27. I was interested in many other things in the world, not astrology. How is that real? Well, it's undeniable at this point, to me. I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. That's actually the main thing, is, I believe I wrote that. No, convince, truth, it's just like, oh, love, convince. Convince me astrology is real. Only honest curiosity will lead you to truth. So this isn't a convincing, this is just sharing my story. Oh, I did it again. Let's go back. Apologies for the hitting the mic. I'm still a noob at this. I'm getting better. So, let's begin. Studying astrology has transformed my life significantly. Both at the onset, when I initially was learning it, and continually through meditation and practice. Again, suspend judgment if you may, and just hear me out. Love to disagree and talk about the things, all as well. This isn't the most important thing, but what's on my mind in starting this thread is that you realize there are seasons where the point is to focus more on yourself, your growth, your work, and how you show up in the world. Not narcissistic to do so, but make sure you always step back and balance. Make sure you're not over-allocating your time and energy in that. There's certainly seasons for it, but you have to balance like all things. Astrology was the first thing that finally gave me a deep sense of okayness with myself, my instinctual tendencies that I'd consider weaknesses, and to embrace my strengths with a healthy pride, or an acceptance of, these are my strengths. And it this point is important to me because I always tried to mute myself. I didn't want to be better than anyone. I don't like comparing myself to other people. This has allowed me to still not assert superiority over people, but just to acknowledge and accept my inherent strengths and gifts and skills that I've acquired, and my privileges, for sure. Talked about my privileges. I'm very privileged. There's a whole thread there. Just search extremely privileged. So Astro not only gave me a deep sense of okayness with myself, but it also gave me blueprints to transform the weaknesses and utilize my strengths. It gives you blueprints to transform your weaknesses and utilize your strengths. There's a few examples in this thread. I've decided to go full 100% transparent, even showing my private notes and my handwriting that is definitely not as good as it is today. But it's still alright. You can still read. There's my Sagittarius Sun with Aquarius Moon. This is my Gemini Rising. And then there's like other, how they relate to each other, how they complement. Mars and Leo, Mercury, Venus, all these sorts of things. And as I read it and I looked at it, I was like, yeah, this is literally me. But on the initial onset, I went, okay, let me go read like what a Taurus sun or like an Aries or all of the other signs, just to make sure, like, is this truly tailored to me, or is this clever hand wavy sort of BS? Long story short, wow, this is me. I did a little ChatGPT summary because I don't like talking about myself, so I'm like, well, I'll have GPT do it, even though it's not perfect. It definitely requires the human touch. But I did it again with like each little bit of my chart. To conclude, my astro chart is very harmonized with all the major planets and asteroids and such, indicating generally a desire to heal, to reconcile differences, to connect and communicate, to dispel illusions and compromise for solutions, to champion humanitarian causes, to push new emerging paradigms, to seek truth, always adventuring, and a lot of the time the adventure takes faith. Big leaps of faith. I have stories. Yeah. Well, that's not astro related. I'll probably delete that later. Move it elsewhere. But astrology also finally put me at ease that terrible things happen to other people and the collective. That conflicts happen and transformation happens. That death and rebirth are inherent and necessary in all things. That the universe is evolving. That there are compounding cycles. Astrology helped me set boundaries within myself, with other people, and with things outside of my control. Through this, I learned who I actually am at my core, and that I have a purpose to share my inherent gifts, combined with, non-astrology related accumulation of experiences and skills and energies. Cross-checking my daily journals and memory of events throughout my adolescence with astrology perfectly explain the extreme and seemingly spontaneous flux of my emotions and life-altering events. So then considering the forecast just in the last couple of years has helped me plan. On the former point, quite controversial. Should write a lot and speak a lot about this to give context, and I already have sort of with my schizophrenia video. It showed me I'm not afflicted with bipolar, but I'm instead more energy sensitive than most, certainly highlighted by my moon on the midheaven in Aquarius, among other things, my intense stellium in Scorpio in the 6th house, and simply needed to find yogic ways to harmonize within myself and my environment. This was absolutely transformational. It showed me my ADHD is a superpower if I learn to manage it. An ongoing process, but significant, undeniable progress has been made. If anyone from my past is watching me now, they can tell, one, I'm not stuttering, two, the confidence, and these sorts of things. It eased me that mania and depression exist in everyone, although at varying degrees, and helped me strategize with them in myself. And it has explained so much more, myself and other people. The madness in the world. In my first year of studying it, after dismissing it my entire life, yet pondering everything else in the world, I approached with some semblance of scientific rigor by only reviewing a lunar month forecast retroactively with my lived experience that I documented in journals. I ended up writing this, the first complete creative bit in so many years. It was a blog post, and to prelude it, I asked, because genuinely, this was where I was. Is astrology real, or is it confirmation bias? Is it clever coincidence, or actual manifestation? What about tarot cards? Are they special if they're done by an attuned witch, or is it some clever manipulation, hand-wavy stuff? That's not to be answered, just explored. I wrote a thing. Here, I'll read this. Well, no, I won't. You can read this another time. But basically, I can create anything I want. I can be anything I want. And you can too. I considered why billionaires, past presidents, scientific geniuses, and kings of yore were so fascinated by and reliant on it. Even if you don't believe in astrology, numerology, etc., the elite do. They're obsessed about it. And they always have been. I heard about correlations to financial markets for the last century, and seemingly dramatic emphasis with cryptocurrency, where there was less market manipulation and hedge fund management, although that's now changed, mostly with the big cap coins. But still, they're ultimately, there's something there. And I did light research. So on February 2nd, 2022, as I was investigating, I said, I don't believe in astrology, but the 4 Mercury retrogrades I've paid attention to have been eerily like as described versus otherwise. I also am curious about its supposed effects on BTC, as it oddly correlates to bullish and bearish, new and full moons. Let's get some data. So I did this, and the data's wrong because like I had unpublished and then published. But yeah, on that February 2nd night, to summarize this, it was a random late night stream of consciousness and investigation into the apparent correlation of crypto financial markets to astrological significances. Correlation isn't strong, but it isn't negligible either. Could be that market makers make decisions based on astrology as a coordinated strategy, or perhaps there's something to this thing. Not bit curry, although I'm now waiting for that Western appropriated dish. So yeah, I did a breakdown. I looked at 110 moons. I got some data. I could have gotten exact values quickly writing a script, but this is an inexact science and needed my personal handiwork. Not that I think I know the best, but I trust my intuition on these things. And it was very rushed and very approximate. I mostly focused on the closes from the beginning of the lunar new to full moon and full to new moon. And I included a few extra numbers for extreme intramoon swings. Basically, there were the same number of positive and negative new and full moons. However, full moons had more flat. Wait, how did I do this? Those numbers don't add. Oh, those are additional. 30 positive, 25 negative, 30 positive, 25 negative. On top of that, no, that seems way too many. I forgot what I did there. But there were 17 Mercury retrogrades that I was looking at. And then I realized later that, yeah, there are other planets that are also retrograde. And then what about just forward momentum? And then what about how the activity in the chart of the United States and its houses and these sorts of things? So it's very complicated. There's a lot more to do and go back to. Basically, I did this. Probably silly, but spent an hour or two, probably 2 hours, just charting. There are some pretty dramatic swings. So to conclude, there were an equal number of positive and negative new and full moons since mid-2017. Not exactly a correlation. The only numerical difference is that full moons are a little flatter. Retrogrades seem inconclusively correlated. Can't really conclude, need way more data. Plus, can't really conclude it. But major all-time highs, bear market bottoms, and trend-confusing action did occur within Mercury retrogrades, either the beginning or the end of it. And so, yeah, I went a little ham. But this was, light scientific rigor to attempt to understand what's going on. Back to the personal. I commented some initial thoughts on how astrology was helping me. So, learning about astrology, I realized, thanks to lots of journaling growing up, and in the last couple of years, that I was always deeply affected by the moon so consistently that perhaps I'm not bipolar? In fact, working with this knowledge has yielded a level of clarity, intuition, self-mastery, and self-love, as I've been describing now, articulating half a year later. It seems that emerging scientific discoveries are now confirming what yogis have claimed to know for millennia. And on me saying I'm writing I always do this, like I'm writing a substantial paper on this. I always get ahead of myself. I'm now almost 2 years here and I'm just now starting to articulate it. So I've learned to be patient and not make claims that I'm doing this and doing that and not tease things. It's wait for the timing. But the point is, I forget what the original post was. But this person said, I feel like a lot of people here are pretty confident about astrology, tarot, and past lives. This one I'm unsure with. But these are definitely not things I intuit as real. Is it your intuition or your mind? I don't know. Maybe either or both. But I said I wouldn't be so dismissive. I spent over 15 years immersed in the internet, digging through all the rabbit holes, exploring every topic, except astrology and magic and reincarnation. They seem too far-fetched. Last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago-ish, I gave them an honest look, and now I believe they are truth. Now this is, I don't know about the reincarnation bit, there's a lot there. Skip over that. But the point is scientific discoveries. String theory and quantum phenomenon and holographic universe theory, and virtually all science do support magic and astrology. And when I say all science supports, there's no science that remotely disproves any of this. There's no science that is remotely against it. It's just lack of support. Lots of scientists claim the science of the last century invalidates metaphysics, but it absolutely does not. And then it came at me, so I said silly troll, just being cheeky. And so, I also struggled mentally and spiritually the entire time learning about this stuff and finding very strong correlations and going, what's up with this? As these discoveries challenged my childhood Christian influence, causing me to feel at times extremely uneasy about it being witchcraft and satanic and supposedly anti-God. But God made it too, right? God made all things. And whether you believe in God or just the universe is so infinitely complex, and we can only see like this much of everything and hear this much of everything. There's so much we don't understand. We don't actually understand how gravity works, or magnetism, electromagnetism. We don't understand black holes. We don't understand the supposed dark energy and dark matter. So what if? And there are things even beyond that. And then I quoted this. Someone said, the moon controls the tides of the planet and regulates women's fertility. You would do well not to disparage the oldest religion known to man. Someone, rightly fine, asked Satanism. And this was the kind of approach I took with responding to this. I said, Satan means the adversary, and there's nothing adversarial about the structure of our reality, which seems to include astrology, i.e., the motion of the planets and their relation to the zodiac seems to tell the story of what's happening internally and globally. It is very strange, but divine certainly. God works in mysterious ways. You would do well to remember that and repeat that phrase. God works in mysterious ways. But then, I actually read many bits of the Bible that acknowledged astrology and prophecy and mystical things were real. But most who talk about them don't genuinely understand them and are just grifting for money. No different than most churches today. And there's even warnings about that in the Bible. It seems to be like a 20-80 rule. Like 20% of people generally know what's up and are like humble and meek about it. 80% just may never understand. It's kind of weird. And I hope we can get to 100% understanding. But that's a digression. Astrology is not everything, but it does explain much of our natural tendencies and life encounters on a more abstract, energetic level. Not that the intimate details of our lives are dictated. We have a free will, actually, but I found in my experience it's best to align it with divine will. Astrology isn't everything, but it is a persistent something, like weather, and seemingly a guide to a better self. Again, when someone says, convince me astrology is real, I can't. Only honest curiosity will lead you to truth. That goes with everything. You have to be curious. You have to challenge your own perceptions and beliefs. Transcend your ego. Go, hey, what if I'm wrong about this? And I said astrology merely, I don't know about the word merely, but astrology provides maps into your own territory and the world. I will write further insights on specific transits and configurations in time. My quick, if I had to just say a one-liner, I would say, take Saturn transits and Mercury retrogrades very seriously. Yep, Mercury and Gatorade. I get it. So I linked this, which was a very big thread where then I start talking about draconic astrology. And here's another one. And this is a thread for another time. But I was, quote, tweeting embryosophy. There are many systems for exploring yourself, ancient and new. They are fascinating and beautiful, but they are only maps for entry into your own territory. When you learn to truly listen to your own territory, creating your own maps, they may not agree with others. This is good. Astrology is only a map for entry into your own territory. Astrology and mysticism are real, but largely irrelevant. You don't have to learn them. The point, ultimately, is to go within, know thyself, and then embody your truest self in the world. Connecting with your intuition is far more important than studying some books. And I said, okay, there's far more to astrology, but for the sake of birth charts and that stuff, they are useful for discovering oneself. And then we'll get into that another time. I was like, so anyway, I recommend these people. And part 2 that I wrote today, this morning. So what is it and how to use it? To briefly touch on how to use it, I said blueprints are given to overcome one's perceived weaknesses, but since astrology isn't everything, there's still missing data, and no instructions on how to actually use what materials to build the thing. We need extra help. So I quote tweeted myself that it gave me a deep sense of okayness with myself, my weaknesses, and my strengths, and it gave me blueprints to transform. Yeah, I mentioned Visa and his work a lot, but his tweeting and books were extraordinarily helpful when combined with my parallel Gnostic investigations, and many others' work, who I will quote tweet eventually as well. I do utmost recommend his book Introspect as a pragmatic companion guide as you are delving into yourself and your thoughts. I'll say this again. Well, I said this very poetically the other night, the other stream. A lot of people, and I was there, don't know themselves, aren't comfortable with themselves, and in most cases they aren't even aware that they don't know themselves and they aren't comfortable with themselves. But sometimes you do get that spark of awareness of wow, I am deeply unhappy. Wow, my energy management is terrible. I'm not doing the things I want to do. Why am I addicted to these things? Follow that spark, and it's challenging, but you got this. To truly come home to yourself, to earn your own trust and respect, you have to unseat the authoritarian tyrant from the throne of your consciousness. You cannot do this by force. I can't do this for you. You can't just rage it away. That only perpetuates the cycle of cruelty. Instead, you must cultivate, courageously, a concerted counterinsurgency of kindness, curiosity, and humor. You have to be able to laugh about it, laugh about yourself, not take yourself seriously. You have to break them out of the prison of your fears. Then, together, with you and all of your parts, your understanding of yourself, you can perform the most daring of heists to retrieve the jewel of life locked up deep within the tyrant's palace. There is this life force, this understanding of yourself and the universe that most people don't have, and it's not their fault. The society we grow up in, and yeah, it's just like, oh, the society. But if you think about it, just how the education system works, the knowledge and wisdom of your parents, you know, that whether you're fortune or misfortune of being born into a family that can teach you these things to know yourself, guide you to these things, as well as education system, your friend circle, exposure to content online, etc. I also mentioned that ADHD being a superpower. Oh, I also mentioned ADHD being a superpower, which is almost always indicated by a strong Mercury and Gemini or Virgo configuration, or in extreme cases, extreme environmental conditioning. I think the ADHD that is unnatural for people, that getting a smartphone in their hand at 4 or 5 years old and just getting addicted to this dopamine stream so early is bad, of course. I'd write more on that, but again, this fellow is already on top of it, so perhaps I need not bother. He has a constructive ADHD little work in progress book you can check out. So, what is it? Astrology. What is astrology? It's not that the planets affect us directly, rather they symbolically represent the undercurrents permeating our psyche. A cosmic clock unfolding a story. They don't dictate our fate, but highlight the themes. An emotional weather forecast. And I quote tweeted this, where I also was ranting on, it's in my Draconic thread. And birth charts. What? I know, it sounds so silly. What? You mean when I'm born, like that's just who I am? It's like, relax. We are composed of many layers. It seems we all emerge from a single source, yet have a soul. However you want to try to define soul, spirit. We have like a core. It's us, but it's not us. And on top of that soul, a personality. The nature of your personality is a combination of astrological infusion, imprint, and karma. And your personality also has a nurturing aspect from environmental conditioning. Your parents, siblings, friends, school system, society, etc. And with karma, you also maybe inherit their karma. You also kind of pick up the karma of your society. If you grow up in America and you learn about American history and you're singing the Pledge of Allegiance or saying the Pledge of Allegiance every day for years and years, you have taken on the karma of the country. And that's a discussion for another time. Yet one's natal chart does fairly accurately describe the nature of the nurturing. Astrology isn't just your birth month, nor is it your big three. It not only entails planets, stars, and asteroids, but also a mathematical division of the sky into 12 houses describing areas of life. I have correctly assumed strangers' relationships with their parents and siblings and others, their interests and work ethic, how they view and use material things, their health problems, and more, all by glancing at their chart for a couple minutes. Does that sound freaky? Just don't think about it. And it's like, what? Like, just meditate on it. Don't think about it too hard. Don't think about how freaky it is, because it doesn't make sense with a lot of people's worldviews, which isn't their fault that they have them. And later I will return to this to talk about relationship compatibility, known as synastry, medical astrology and its usage for millennia. There's many doctors and many cultures paired their medical scientific knowledge with astrology. They would prescribe certain herbal medications, for example, based on your astrology and the astrology of the herbs themselves. I know that sounds wild, but there's so many texts and tomes on this. And it's not that we've been lied to and psyoped, it's just we haven't been taught it. Pure and simple. Maybe there's some intentional bearing, I don't know. There's also locational astrology known as astrocartography. This one's a little weird. I don't fully understand it yet, just kind of looking into it, but there's something there. Apparently I'm supposed to go to Singapore. The usage of astrology by kings and geniuses. And here, I'll pull this up because very, very important, very salient. Astrology History Channel. This right here, Astrology and the Secrets in the Stars, Ancient Mysteries, voiced by Leonard Nimoy. Rest in peace. This will challenge you, for sure. And then I'll talk about cyclical time. Like when people say, oh, history repeats itself. It's like, no, it more rhymes. And then where we are today. And then also, so this is talking about the astrology, but then also how to use it. We'll talk about horoscopes, the daily, which really aren't that impactful most of the time. Depends on the transit. More significant are the weekly and monthly kind of time scales. And seasonal, when you have the outer planets really challenging you. For example, Saturn return, which I've been going through, in the 10th house. Wow. There's also, you can use astrology to start things for auspicious, fortunate success. And we call that electional astrology. And there's more. But that might be another year or two, that part of this extra stuff. So yes, challenging. I welcome discussion and feedback. It is very weird, but I know it to be true. I believe God, not man on a throne in the sky in heaven versus hell, but just wherever we come from, however this reality works. It's evident to me that not only do the physical planets exist and revolve around the sun, but they're also hands on a cosmic clock that are highlighting, kind of telling the time, kind of telling the story of what's happening here on Earth. Now you can be like, okay, what happens when humanity gets off Earth and goes to Mars and goes to the moon? I have no idea. This is an open question that made me think maybe astrology is wrong. Because how does this work? It's kind of weird. Are we ever going to be able to get off the planet, truly? I don't have answers. I don't even have beliefs. No, not even inclinations at all on these things. Probably best not to think about it yet. Because it's weird. So anyway, thanks for listening. I'm going to now have a little drink, stretch, and get into the next stuff. I want to watch Martin Luther King Jr. Speeches. And I want to get into some other stuff. Alright, I'm going to play some music. stuff, right? Weird stuff. I'll pause this for a second. There was a discussion that I had in a Discord chat with some old friends, and I was a little too passionate and emphatic, not patient enough to understand where they are and to like slowly bring them over. And I say that with hesitation because I'm not trying to convince people, I'm not trying to induct anyone into a cult or anything. This is just pure curiosity and wanting to like eventually bring people to unity and harmony and understanding. And I think not in every case, but in so many cases, I don't know about most cases, when people don't have a love and faith for something beyond themselves, whether it's God or you just, the interconnectedness of humanity. When you don't have that, you may inherently just find unnecessary conflict with people and continue to perpetuate division. You don't have to believe in astrology, but believe in God. God's amazing. And again, God works in mysterious ways. And so, let me see. Yeah, this is on the other screen, right? Yeah. Let's move it over here. Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, we're all pretty much blind and deaf. This is all you hear, or all you hear and all you see all happens here. This implies there's things happening here. And it's not that there are entities and forms here, per se. There's just, we don't know exactly. And so when you suspend your judgment and your desire to know things, you can then start to ask some interesting questions. Like I said, that spurred a whole discussion. Said it's pretty wild to think about how dogs can sense things far beyond our ability, as well as many other creatures' ability to detect oncoming earthquakes or storms. The seed of thought in high school later led me to consider weirder shit, like karmic memory and energies. And I'll leave it at that. I didn't leave it at that. Not trying to be all preachy and stuff, just want to share an interesting perspective, some food for thought. I think it's important, as life is going to get even fucking weirder with the UFO shit and such. And in terms of like, this is not necessarily the best recommendation following this, but like the karmic memory and energies, it's like, Karma by Sadhguru, if you approach it with an open mind, is kind of weird, but it's kind of awesome. I'm going to have the music going just at a lower volume. It's kind of my own ADHD inability to deal with this stuff very well sometimes. And so, someone just asked, I'm curious how dogs hearing and how some birds have the ability to see magnetic fields caused you to believe in karmic memory and energies and UFOs and aliens and angels. Now, he thought this was an ad hom attack, and I guess depending on how you see it, it could be. I was just trying to state matter-of-factly to him and to everyone else in the Discord that may be reading, that if you read carefully, for one, I said consider, not believe. I said reading comprehension is extremely important. And it's not just because of this, but it is. Because the word belief and believe are very charged. It's a very charged word, belief. I said consider specifically. Now, I do now kind of have beliefs that I would say is a knowing that I can't convey. Just, there is a certain point where you cannot deny that there is something out there. But I'm not here to preach that. But I said that kind of abstract thinking, that like, hey, dogs
animals sensing things beyond our ability, later led to 8 years later rather, to considering other strange phenomenon. Of course, shitloads of context missing, investigation into pyramids and ancient civilization stuff, diving into a lot of everything. Some quantum science spookiness, etc. And just simply wondering what the fuck is up with the UFOs. If it's not aliens, then it has to be human, yeah? Or something weirder, like angels, fae, demons? To clarify, I think a lot of the alien UAP stuff is fake, doctored. I don't know about PSYOP, maybe it's just, I don't know. But some of it is legitimate, so what the fuck? Also, there's some weird stuff in the Bible. But the US Congress has been taking this extremely seriously for a couple years now. It's like, some people are in the Don't Look Up movie, not looking up. This is a metaphor, by the way. This was bad of me, right here. I jumped the gun, I was being a little snappy, I apologize. Then he asked, okay, give me examples. And I said, well, there's quite a few cases from Roswell. I don't think we have the facts of Roswell exactly, but there was something. And many things up to the Navy pilot encounters around 2002 and beyond. To 2 of my personal experiences, intense personal experiences from my trusted colleagues, millions of reports all around the world, and yeah, these are anecdotes, but when there's millions of them, I'm not trying to convince you of my personal experiences, when there's millions of reports all around the world, and a current paradigm of those in power, in charge, not liking the idea of any of this. They want to suppress and bury it. Because I think it's just, they're scared. I don't know if there's an evil agenda. I think they're just scared, because it's weird. I talk to people on the daily, not on the daily, but I talk to people regularly that don't want to hear about astrology and hear about these things, because it's just too weird for them. And I understand, and I'm learning to just give them space to process that, or not at all. But also, there's hieroglyphics. Some weird hieroglyphics and ancient texts that are being resurfaced. And it seems to me that angels exist because of the structure of reality, but are incomprehensible. Took me years to understand and admit this. So they could manifest into material reality as UFOs, or other things like the Little Red Man that was reported by Napoleon and so many others. Yeah. And countless other strange phenomena. Angels have undeniably intervened in my life, and no amount of writing would convince you. It's a thing that just has to be experienced. And thought experiment. Consider the difference between us and dogs and insects. I think there's something equivalently beyond us. Also, we already have explanations for why oh. This was, him. He said also, we already have explanations for why dogs can hear earthquakes, and why birds can see magnetic fields. What are the leaps toward considering karmic memory, energies, UFOs, aliens, and angels? I said, the materialist explanations are insufficient. It's more than just ultra and subsonic hearing and magnetically detecting them. We still don't even understand magnetism or gravity. They are weird. Yeah, I did come in here a bit too hasty, for which I apologize. I'm working on taming my passion. As for karmic memory, my own gnosis and texts like Sadhguru's karma. And astrology, and then I linked this, what I just spoke on. Individuals like this speak very saliently about aliens, far better than I. Kind of agree that they're fae or angelic. Perhaps there's even demonic ones. Maybe there's secret Tesla-based human tech that's, I don't know, demonically driven. Or maybe they're operating for the good of all. And certainly fake images and videos. There's so many of them, for sure. But this is a ginormous can of worms that maybe I shouldn't spring on people yet. So, sorry if I'm shattering your worldview right now. As for energies and synchronicities, one book, The Celestine Prophecy, I think does a good job at cracking the egg open. If you want that Pandora's box open. Ooh. Hey. So anyway, there's also declassified CIA documents since the 80s about really fucking weird shit. Is that all fake? Is that PSYOP? Why does it agree with millennia of yogic insight and ancient cultural prophecies? So anyway, he said that was an ad hoc jab. Not sure why you'd argued against it. I pulled out a GPT and I'm like, is it? And it's like, if the statement is meant to emphasize the importance of understanding the distinction between considering and believing without being overly derogatory or insulting, it may not necessarily be an ad hom attack. And I went, alright, didn't mean it as such. It wasn't against you. I was just like, you replace the word consider with believe. Very important distinction. And if we're going to have conversations like this, when we talk about angels and God and astrology and UFOs, we have to be able to understand each other. So not only reading comprehension, but every other mental process that's involved there. Anyway, fairly but misguided, he said, I was hoping for a little more than anecdotal evidence and the people you trust. Even the Navy pilot encounter says nothing legitimate or proven. That one I don't know, but I didn't respond to that directly. Millions of reports all around the world. I'd be interested in seeing how many reports are actually filed per year and in which countries. A lot of them that get reported get buried, and people get disappeared. Because again, maybe there's not a secret conspiracy. People are just afraid of things they don't know.
Hello?
The angel's existing paragraph can't really be engaged with because it's just absurd. To which I said, reality is absurd. Maybe a good thing you haven't encountered it yet. And that's where I was like, you know, maybe I should stop talking about this stuff. Anyway, he's like, when I said there's something equivalently beyond us, he said that doesn't always have to be the case. There has to be an end on either side of the chain or it would go on ad infinitum. And I said, yeah, I think it has an end. I think it's God, angels, maybe some other things, man, animal, insect, vegetable, rock, atoms, etc., and emptiness. That makes sense to me. Yeah, science. Look at black holes. We don't know why they exist or all of the effects they have, but we can still understand things about them. True. Yeah, that was another thing. And then he said, I hope I find whatever I'm looking for. I'm good. He said he recommends reading some philosophy. Voltaire would do some good for you, I imagine. I have, and I'll address that at the end. Anyway, yes, reading comprehension is extremely important. This goes for beyond you, this applies for everyone. Reading comprehension is extremely important. I did not say I believe in aliens either, but there is certainly something. Could be. If you perceive... Oh yeah, I was like, I'll just skip that. Again, I apologize. Again, I don't need to try to convince you. The truth fears no investigation. When you explore with genuine curiosity, you'll find some shit. I won't hold hands here. The student is ready, the master appears. Again, probably not the best way to go about doing it, but that's what came out. And he's like, oh, I guess there's no reason to continue talking. What's the purpose of this comment? Oh, that was the other thing from earlier. And I was like, oh, no reason to continue talking. And I went, magic is just science we don't have yet. And then he said, where I see the wonders and marvels of the natural universe, you're seeing something quite different. No, I'm seeing something on top of it, underlying it. I write poems about the wonders and marvels of the natural universe, absolutely enraptured by the beauty of it all. I'm not trying to get you to see the world the way I do, necessarily. Just to prepare your mind for increasingly weird shit coming. You must be extremely clear in yourself in order to survive. You must be able to listen to your intuition, to your spirit. I admire him very much in his approach here and being clear with himself. I just wonder if the boundaries are good. I have not read Voltaire directly, learned about him in high school, but I have read Plato, Epicurus, Nietzsche, Aurelius, Jesus, Krishna, Ian McGilchrist, McKenna, Alan Watts, Carl Jung, Carl Sagan, list goes on. I'll check him out. On philosophy, and by extension the broken left-brain hypermaterialism plaguing modern institutions, to quote this individual, an image of thought called philosophy has been formed historically, and it effectively stops people from thinking. I didn't... So I did a ChatGPT dump of describe Voltaire and what his thoughts on the immaterial reality. And I said, I pasted it and then I said, beautiful. Man ahead of his time, just not eternal. Good to be critical of things lacking empirical support. But what's beautiful is that empirical support is now being found within the last few decades. The emerging science hasn't yet propagated to institutions, who historically have always rooted themselves firmly in old findings, because the professors' egos are fragile. They start off their life curious and challenging everything, they make some discoveries, get some tenure spending... Oh yeah, and then they get tenure, spending the rest of their life defending their claims as irrefutable. We see this very clearly with archaeology and anthropology. The absolute refusal to believe that the pyramids are older than we've been saying, refusing to acknowledge Göbekli Tepe, and refusing to consider a pre-Meltwater Pulse 1b civilization akin to the Atlantis fables, and the Noah flood story, and many other flood stories all around the world, even off the coast of Egypt, Greek island, off the coast of India, so many. I recommend Ian McGilchrist here on his work about the two hemispheres of the brain and how woefully behind our universities are. Graham Hancock for the Weird Ancient Civilization, Atlantis ship, with Randall Carlson's scientific approach to investigating Earth's terrain. Voltaire lived 1694 to 1778. Things have since changed. Though the core of believe nothing, question everything is eternal, there is just a certain threshold where the immaterial becomes undeniable, and it is so beautiful. It makes the natural world appear even more beautiful. I'm sorry I said I won't hold hands here like that. Certainly a little snappy. Shame on my impatience. I'm willing to, but when we view the world so differently and due to the nature of this textual medium and my ongoing synthesis of this information, it's best you read something like McGilchrist so we can meet more in the middle. I have had conversations with other materialists where I was extremely patient, more inquiry-based than matter-of-factly, and even after days, it got nowhere. However, in some cases, many months later, they reached out or just simply pinged me in another way that they got it. And I think I've spent as much, if not more, time and energy in my life exploring these topics as I have played video games. And that's a lot. And yeah, finally, I have found everything I was looking for. I have such peace. Such equanimity. Probably the happiest person in the world. I could die right now and be fucking great. I'm good right now. I could spend the rest of my life low-key in an observatory and frolicking in nature, writing sappy poems, playing games and sleeping with women, committing to a monastery and providing food, etc. I choose to engage with the outer world to shine a light in the darkness that's consuming humanity. TikTok and vape addictions, and Trump vs. Biden, and Israel-Palestine, and the Russia-Ukraine war, Russia-Ukraine-NATO war, and China versus everyone. It's a great thing we got going on. Yeah. There's just weird stuff. Weird stuff. I'm now going to make some... I'm going to heat some water for non-caffeine tea because my throat's starting to hurt talking this much. I want some honey. I'll get a cough drop. And then I'll be back to watch some MLKJ speeches and maybe do some HSD work. Yeah. Isn't this music vibey? I just discovered him. Oh, this is another one. Thoughts on Death by Josh. Yeah. It's just auto-playing random stuff now. I like it. And then we'll get into some other stuff. I'll be right back. So, just as a brief aside, killing some rats, splashing some rats. No, just as a brief aside, I had this thought last week, a couple weeks ago, when I was considering what a Jesus figure would look like today. If Jesus were alive today, with the internet, radio, television, cars, or the spirit of Jesus, someone who is an enlightened being, what would he look like? Probably Martin Luther King Jr., JFK, individuals like that. People who transcended their own ego, their care for death, in order to try to help the collective. I'm deeply inspired by Martin Luther King Jr., though I haven't listened to many of his speeches. I've listened to I Have a Dream, maybe fragments of other ones in high school I kind of remember. What are these recommendations, bro? Can we just, like, not? How do I... What happened to the button to, like, say, I don't want to watch this anymore? They got rid of that? It's there. There it is. I'm not interested, thank you. So I want to watch 3, 4, or 5. His final speech. We'll get to that at the end, maybe. We'll listen to the I Have a Dream. We'll listen to that one. The Other America. The Evils of Society. And then maybe more. So I will pause the music and give him my respect. Just also my attentiveness, because I'm curious. It's been a long time since I've listened to the I Have a Dream speech. And the others we'll see, and I may even take notes. So I'll convert this to a toggle list. We'll do I Have a Dream. One day.
I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
Here, I will.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history
What is going
as
on?
the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation.
Abraham Lincoln.
This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their important and crucial period of your lives.
I'm going to watch or listen to the 47 and 43 minute ones on my walks later. If I try to... Still struggling to get up to 10 miles. Because I want to do so many things, but I definitely need to walk more. And I'll listen to those later. Gonna listen to this 2.5 minute one first. I think it's a...
Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. That all men would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So many years, I was never satisfied. No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream.
Amen. Stream, not scream. Right? Can you get the words right?
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
This is weird to add, but his son Dexter became a vegetarian in 1987, later telling People Mag, "It opened me up in terms of my spiritual self and enabled me to transcend a lot of emotional interference. Once you can manage your emotions, anything is achievable." Wow. That's funny.
Let freedom ring from every mountainside. When we let it ring, all of God's children, black men and white men, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old spiritual. Oh, yeah, you know. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Now is the time.
And we as a people get to the promised land.
Well, we know if my father really came from her resilience, her determination, her faith, her courage. Women have all the power. Beyond every great man is an even greater woman. Right outside the language of the unheard.
I still have a dream.
The issue is there's still two Americas. The America for black people and the America for white people. There still is. Need to make sure this is still going. I had an issue with the stream dropping off at one point. And also chat. No one's coming in and chatting yet, but that's okay. I haven't really advertised, haven't told people I'm going live. I'm very inconsistent with the timing. Maybe I work that out. Otherwise, hey, I throw them up on YouTube and I get clips out of it whenever I get around to doing it. Maybe I pay someone to do it. There's just too many things to do. Great, they're getting out of order. It's not what I wanted, but that's okay. I tried to do it, but when you batch upload. So anyway, we're gonna restart this. This might be the last one. 3 Evils of Society and the Other America sound very interesting. I will add them to my watch later. Let's listen to this. His final speech. I've been to the mountaintop.
Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now. because I've been to the mountaintop.
Hey.
I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will.
Amen.
And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain.
I can tell.
I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Paradise soon.
So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
Woo! Woo! Oh my goodness, great.
Already flunked your matriculation exam for entrance into the University of Integration. Set out to do a good job and do that job so well that the living, the dead, or the unborn couldn't do it any better. If it falls your lot to be a street sweeper, sweep streets like Michelangelo painted pictures. Sweep streets like Beethoven composed music. Sweep streets like Leontine Price sings before the Metropolitan Opera. Sweep streets like Shakespeare wrote poetry. Sweep streets so well that all the host of heaven and earth will have to pause and say, here lived a great street sweeper who swept his job well. If you can't be a pine on the top of the hill, be a scrub in the valley. But be the best little scrub on the side of the rill. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. If you can't pause and say, here lived a great street sweeper who swept his job well. If you can't be a pine on the top of the hill, be a scrub in the valley.
If you can't be a pine on the top of a hill, be fine being a shrub at the bottom of the hill.
He'll be a scrub in the valley. But be the best little scrub on the side of the rill. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be the...
If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star.
Sun, be a star. For it isn't by signs that you win or you fail. Be the best of whatever.
What did he say? Signs?
Be the sun, be a star. For it isn't by signs that you win or you fail. Be the best of whatever you are.
Be the best who you are? Who said that?
We already have some noble examples of black men and black women who demonstrated to us that human nature cannot be cataloged. They in their own lives have walked through long and desolate nights of oppression, and yet they've risen up and plunged against cloud-filled nights of affliction, new and blazing stars of inspiration. And so from an old slave cabin of Virginia's hills, Booker T. Washington rose up to be one of America's great leaders. He lit a torch in Alabama, and darkness fled in that setting. Yes, you should know this because it's in your own city. From a poverty-stricken area of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Marion Anderson rose up to be the world's greatest contralto, so that a Toscanini could say that a voice like this comes only once in a century. And Sibelius of Finland could say, my roof is too low for such a voice, from the red hills of Gordon County, Georgia. And the arms of a mother who could neither read nor write, Roland Hayes rose up to be one of the world's great singers and carried his melodious voice into the palaces and mansions of kings and queens. From crippling circumstances, there came a George Washington Carver to carve for himself an imperishable niche in the annals of science. There was a star in the diplomatic sky, and then came Ralph Bunce, the grandson of a slave preacher, and he reached up and grabbed it and allowed it to shine in his life with all of its scintillating beauty. There was a star in the athletic sky. Then came Jackie Robinson in his day and Willie Mays in his day with their powerful bats and their calm spirits. Then came Jesse Owens with his fleet and dashing feet. Then came Joe Louis and Muhammad Ali with their educated fists. All of them came to tell us that we can be somebody. And to justify the conviction of the poet, fleecy locks and black complexion cannot forfeit nature's claim. Skin may differ, but affection dwells in black and white the same. And if I were so tall as to reach the pole, or to grasp the ocean at a span, I must be measured by my soul. The mind is the standard of the man. And finally, in your last blueprint,
ZTV bars.
must be
I know, bro.
a commitment
Amazing.
to the eternal principles of beauty, love, and justice.
Amen.
Don't allow anybody to pull you so low as to make you hate them. Don't allow anybody to cause you to lose your self-respect to the point that you do not struggle for justice. However young you are, you have a responsibility to seek to make your nation a better nation in which to live. You have a responsibility to seek to make life better for everybody. And so you must be involved in the struggle for freedom and justice. Now, in this struggle for freedom and justice, there are many constructive things that we all can do and that we all must do. And we must not give ourselves to those things which will not solve our problems. You've heard the word nonviolent and you've heard the word violent. I happen to believe in nonviolence. We struggle with this method with young people and adults alike all over the South, and we have won some significant victories, and we've got to struggle with it all over the North because the problems are as serious in the North as they are in the South. But I believe as we struggle with these problems, we've got to struggle with them with a method that can be militant, but at the same time does not destroy life or property. And so our slogan must not be burn, baby, burn. It must be build, baby, build.
Build, baby, build. I've never heard that. I'm going to be clipping that and using that. Build, baby, build.
Yes, our slogan must be learn, baby, learn, so that we can earn, baby, earn.
Wow.
And with a powerful commitment, I believe
to watch that. Alright, I am going to... I forgot about the tea and the honey. I'm gonna get that, and then I'm going to listen to music and just vibe and chill for the rest of the stream. Definitely some good things to clip there. Well, I don't need to, like, clip that particularly. I'm talking more about the astrology that I started the stream off with. Kind of weird, I know. Kind of charged. Oh yeah, I can blogify my threads. Definitely want to do that. I could do that on stream. HSD work. Yeah, I'm gonna change that into a toggle list, and then maybe we get into some weird stuff. There's also oh yeah, 2 teapot talenters. Oh no, this is read and add to the thread. Teapot talent, John Nash. Also adding to online. ZTB. Others. Yeah, that was beautiful. I'll be right back. I'll put on music. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, this song is quiet as heck. What are we doing here? I'm gonna play this song again. Shout out, Christy.
Recreate this state of mind tomorrow. I awoke and felt I was unstable.
Hey, what's up,
My fate
viewers?
carrying crates of sorrow.
Let me pause real quick. I read my astrology threads that I wrote in the last 2 days. Talked about a discussion in a Discord about that stuff and some other weird stuff. I listened to a few MLKJ speeches, took some notes to empower me and also to use in a derivative way. Considering video uploads to other platforms. Video uploads to YouTube done, and consider other platforms. Now I may blogify my threads, maybe work on the Hellscape Digital website. I have a lot of things to do, but just going where the inspiration is. So blogify my threads. Here is my Genius page. I was making pages for people, including finally my own music. Cool. Alright. So yeah, I'm going to just blogify my threads and listen to music for the rest of the stream. Do rewind if you're interested in the astrology stuff, or if you're interested in the MLKJ speeches. It is his day today. At least we nationally recognize it as such. And yeah, powerful. A couple videos I'm going to listen to on my walks later. Feel free to ask me anything. Oh yeah, and on that note, let me put the extra graphics up on the screen. They're a little insane. This is me on the... one of my screens just splashing to level 99 on RuneScape. Don't ask. No, you can ask. Here's a little ask me anything, whether it's about my music, poems, essays, my stories, my personal stories and whatnot. We could talk about geopolitical happenings, conspiracies, crypto, and whatever stuff there. Talk about my new upcoming project that I'm still designing and pitching to entrepreneurs and building a crowdfunding page. Could talk about Starscape, the studio, the guild, all the other plans. My new progress with diet and fitness and martial arts. A lot of things have been clicking finally, and it feels good. And not that I'm some health nut or coach or anything, but I'll just share what's been working for me and the principles of it, philosophy. We can talk about astrology and weird things. I opened the stream up with... yeah, my threads, which were pretty out there, but they're not out there. It's just depending on where you are, how far it is, and anything. Also, kind of like Web3 crypto gaming thing. I think I might end up doing that for fun on the side as new Web3 games start to come out and be interesting. But now I'm just going to vibe. It's just going to be chill. I'm quite pleased with, what, an hour and a half, hour 45? Yeah, let's just chill, ask questions. This right here, someone I met at Vibe Camp, someone in my part of Twitter, just put this music out, what, a year ago, 2 years ago? Yeah, a year and a half ago, and no one's, as far as I've seen, really messed with it. Like 2 monthly listeners, but this person is so talented. And I created the Genius page for them. Because wow.
You might not be able to recreate this state of mind tomorrow. I awoke and felt I was unstable, accepted my fate, carrying crates of sorrow.
Incredible.
I'm broken, melting off my labels, the best mistake unmarrying faces borrowed. It was me, then it was we, then it was me and you, then it was what do we do?
I'm turning it up a little bit. We're just gonna be vibing now.
Lend me your eyes, a dying on my life, coloring everything. I'm wondering, editing, blundering, exiting dull perspectives, making my bed in the unprotected, meeting, expanding, giving, blessed transits, transients, trip tested, time invested, exceeding decency, Eden's keys, leasing me out. I'm captive to knowing and what's next. Doubt, beauty, and held breath, minting currency, loot chest, currently giving it my best, winning it made up addition, sharp decisions, gnosis, hearing whoever will listen. I ponder the first meiosis while cycling learned poses, imposing on my focus, centering on some yogic lotus. What was the question? No, I know this. Was there a question?
No, I know this. I'm here to remind you I'm you, but I'm not. Escaping our monolith. It's new and I fought for this. Is it better to not to exist? I'm gonna start with the weight of your wishes. I wish that it wasn't my business. I know crumpled up in your fist, I could give it a gift. You just want to respond with it. Read my mind, I'm sending you shapes, circles, dots, lines. Read my mind, I'm sending you colors. Red, blue, black, white. Read my mind, I'm sending you letters. A, B, X, Y. Read my mind, I'm sending you words. Love, lilies, butterflies. Read my mind, I'm sending you life sentences. Forgetting my etiquette.
A mix of mixed messages. Hope like an optimist, love like a pessimist. From behind the steel of my own bars, I've been trying to hold you. I can't even tell myself apart. How am I supposed to unfold you? I was me, then I was we, then I was me and you. Now I'm what we do. Note to self, you might not be able to recreate this emotionscape tomorrow. You'll awake and feel perhaps more stable, accept your fate. It's time to paint over your sorrows. Repair what's broken, forgive mistakes. Someday you'll have to return this body you borrowed.
What it is and what it means, and like we anchor ourselves to a story or a belief.
I steal your voice again, G.
It's always in flux and out of our control. Do we want to encourage this?
Good? Good. And just seeing the lights like whiz round like that.
Oh, what was the one that I used the other day? Which one did I use? I didn't follow it. I was lost in space, doing aerials, solar flares and peripherals, those are miracles.
Chest dissect, throat full of herringbone, strawberry moon, so aglow with the pheromones. Close my eyes, it's Hieronymus Bosch. Chisel cold bones, show a skull full of fog. Open wounds grew, turning snow into salt. Orbit through gloom with the locusts and frogs. Hurricane mind cried, perfect frame skies. Vertebrae changed to a serpent-shaped spine. Circles stay bright, time so bird of prey like I bounce between planets that reverberate cries. Staying silent in the nebulous Neptune skin, raining diamonds into emptiness. A mix of violence with delicate, burning up alive until I am with the elements. Spontaneous combustion. Spontaneous combustion. Spontaneous combustion.
I don't know what songs are playing. I'm gonna switch it now. It's just playing random stuff. I'm solo. Do I have my chat open? No, it's chatting. Cool. Yeah? No. I'm solo. I'm solo. Out here working on the dance floor. I'm solo.
Nobody's coming in my zone. I'm solo. Out here working on the dance floor.
My computer's struggling a little bit. Hey, chill out.
Like
the rhythm of the night. Feel the rhythm now. Feel the rhythm now.
Yeah, 2 a.m. She looking to unplug, disconnect from the grid. Free as a bird, beautiful orchid. The moment, still as a portrait. Rolling them doobies, everything's groovy. She say don't think that I'm some type of groovy, but I feel tonight is the time to release. And Joey, you're right here with me, and the music is shrill. 9-inch nails, massive attack, bottle of Jack, loose cigarettes in her vintage dress, sex in her smile. I fuck her to death till the feeling of gravity zero. DMT though, no placebo. Come alive, girl. Travel.
Alright, CTDS, see that? I'll check it out later. Station alone flight. We're only here for one night. You're the only one in my eyes. Let's fall in love with one night. One night. One night. One night. One night. One night. Let's fall in love with one night. One night. One night. One night. Where is my astrology image that I want to use?
You're some kind of ingenue. Let's slip into something more comfortable. We can have some kind of rendezvous. In your eyes like BVS. In that body so devious. We keep talking that talk. You keep walking that walk. No, my thoughts is mischievous. Can I nibble your lower lips? Take and tickle your toes a bit. Make you giggle and wiggle. Then pick with the pickle. You high like a bowl of grits. So fuck the pretensions. Let's cut up the tension. Put pedal to metal and never ever will I cut off the engine.
Spacious in the morning of night. We're only here for one night. Really? You're the only one in my eyes. Let's fall in love for one night. One night. One night. One night. Let's fall in love for one night. One night. One night. One night. One night. spaciously the moment I fly. We're only here for one night. You're the only one in my eyes. Let's fall in love for one night. One night, one night, one night, one night, one night. Let's fall in love for one night. One night, one night, one night, one night. Oh, I'm gonna upgrade this. So weird. That was fun. Maybe I should have numbered them. Sorry. Heavenly love. Oops.
Got a piece in my mind to tell you who's mine. Nobody hurts like me for you. Soft slacks at night, I'm wearing them tight. Nobody hurts like I do. You fake is a fine, but your water ain't wine. So stop feeding me a little more time. Your shit's a mess, I'm not yours to undress. I'm leaving this love for the last time. I'm not yours, I'm mine.
Sliding through the belly, I do the brutal dance. Ride around like I stole it, my true romance. All day, let go the effort. Can't be so precious, more than ever getting by. So it goes, being low, being high. Tripping down to what I really love. Baptized in a mudslide, hang 10, oh yeah. Surf the ephemera, the world being crazy. Pocket full of sand, where you at, where you at? Blade in my hand, cut the fat, cut the fat. Here come the shovel, come to tuck you under. Don't you love the hunt for trouble? Before I R.I.P. a rumble, rumble.
Dying young, something inside of us climbing out.
Where you at? Where you at? Get relentless with it. Where you at? Where you at? Let's get reckless with it. Where you at? How I love it, live it, attack it. I keep coming and I get it. Right now more than ever.
Now more than ever. Ever. Something inside of us climbing out.
Lighting up something reminding us, finding love. Dying young, something inside of us climbing out. Lighting up something reminding us. Ever. My mind is racing while I sit in traffic. Don't wanna get too backed up, don't wanna get too dramatic. But the magnet to the madness puts my friends in their caskets is weighing heavy on me. I ain't made enough, no waiting up. I feel life too much. I feel high, I feel low, I feel both, I feel fucked. I've been thinking on my sins for the last 4 blocks. That's 2 Hail Marys and a half-court shot. Something tough on myself. Drag my body through the veld and vow to do the most. Leave none for later, pray for my haters. Something reminding us, finding love, dying young. Something inside of us climbing out, lighting up. Something reminding us.
I need to update this playlist. We're gonna listen to A Ho to All My Relations. A Ho to All My Family. Took a trillion trials.
Children of smiles and climb that filling up, build to build some strong bridges for miles. I'm sort of crooked from all the gratitude, asking you when did you put your foot in that book of freedom. Good afternoon. I'm hanging out with the Mayan scientists on Turtle Island, riding the lightning like I was a tiger, fighting a lion, trying to tighten the screw to spiral that deepens and widens, seeing through multi-dimensional lenses, praying in silence, keep giving thanks to the water, honoring mothers and fathers, grandmothers, grandpas and daughters, the sun, the moon, and the altar. Higher and higher we go, it keeps us connected, inspired, so we can cut all the wires of the fence and dance with jaguars, holding the hands of empires, with children who know the build, with children who know how to dance. He listen and sit still. I'm learning the master teaches the fire, so look into it, give it what you don't need and be friends with it. You can enter it, send it, your message is sending yourself and see the animals. Ask for the guidance and no God, ask for mine and send in mine. Bring a couple clowns into your life, flipping everything upside down till your frown turns to a smiley face. I'm wide awake with the diet of paying attention constantly to all of my surroundings and praying for clean air, food, water, and those types of things for everyone and everything. To all of my relations, a ho to all my family. started with the snake of underworld, turned to alligator. Alligator turned to eagle. Eagle took the elevator up to heaven. That's where the prayers go. Look into the sun, I swear to God, you'll see a rainbow. Scarecrows hang desolate in open fields of pestilence. The ocean feels the pressure every time you reach the precipice and jump to make a splash. I ask, is it about the cash or is it about the community? Well, I took a trip to Wounded Knee to prove to me that where I'm usually needed is usually right where I'm at. That's nothing new to me. My responsibility, duty free. Just exude beauty and be true to who I truly see. Preview the movie before trying to act like someone they try to choose me to be. I used to be a punk, used to be a hippie, used to be a gypsy, used to be a monk. I guess the bottom line is that I used to think I was on top of what I thought was the way until I found out I was that rock I was on. Felt the lava, it was hot, got the bucket in the mouth. Started feeling sort of dizzy like the city was the problem. Tried to call the cops, but what they gonna do? Authorities, the friction in the plot, the poison in the soup, the noises overgrew the silent treatment of a sovereign nation. Bridges that were built not being crossed without religious connotations. With the patience of a turtle, we can learn to see the constellation in every single circle.
Every cell of every being, we pray that every living being has everything it ever needs for 7 generations free. With every cell of every being, we pray that every living being has everything it ever needs for 7 generations free. Please?
It took a trillion trials to find the children of smiles and climb that feeling uphill to build some strong bridges for miles. I'm sort of crooked from all the gratitude. Asking you, when did you put your foot in that book of freedom? Good afternoon. 4 directions, 4 nations. Each direction is infinite. Need protection, not a problem. Nestle underneath the wingtip. 5, 6, 7, 8. Who can fly to heaven's gates? Levitate, meditate. Excuse me for being cryptic. Let me spell it out in layman's terms. Mother Nature's vision is lining up when we pray with her. Our spirit is experienced, blanketed in ancient flames that burn the sacred herbs. Our magnets like solar flares when we play with birds. Their favorite word, love, and soon there'll only be one language. Some will seek shelter on mountains, others will choose to board this spaceship. Where it takes them, I don't know, but I know I'ma stay here with my family. Everything's my family, everything's my mirror. Consciousness called evolution never lets us down. We're looking up from here because the sky above us is what keeps us grounded. So send a prayer as a solution to anyone or everything. To all of my relations, a ho to all my family. Clean water, food, air, for all my family. Clean water, food, air, for all my family. Clean water, food, air, for all my families. 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 Clean water, food, air, for all the families. Clean water, food, air, for all the families. Clean water, food, air, for all the
and I get locked in my eyes with you. I can't fight it, splitting my mind in two. 'Cause I can't wait for you. I can't wait for you. I can't wait for you. I can't wait for you.
I can't wait for you. I mean, I'm waiting very patiently. I can't wait for you to come back. Come into my life forever. Alright. I guess we'll do the one more while I finish this up. I am getting hungry now and I need a walk. For sure. Whoa, that's weird. Why did that happen? Pretty pleased. I definitely still have a lot more work to do, but very productive stream. That was 2.5 hours. Fantastic. We keep it going. Almost every day, almost every week. We just keep it going. Yeah. Thanks for listening, tuning in if you did. I see us creating a better world from here. Together, all of us. It takes all of us to participate. The only way we're going to save the world is if we all participate. So I aim to coordinate. Let's build. Alright. Have a great day. Great life. Live every day to your fullest. Be inspired.